Hey guys, this is Chris Fix. I'm gonna go show you what I'm doing today. The trim on my truck is really faded, pretty badly, and I don't like how it looks. Here's what it is supposed to look like. This nice dark black, has a little bit of glow to it. So I'm gonna try to get it back to nice and black. I tried, the products like Back to Black and all the classic products, but none of them work. They don't restore it. Armor All, Compound. It'll look good for like 2 weeks and then it'll just go right back to this faded black, gray, whatever you would call it. So just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like when it's all done, you can see the gloss finish on it. Very low gloss, kind of like the factory original. It is raining out, so no sunlight, but you get the idea. So here's what you're going to need for this project. You're going to need some paper towels. A microfiber cloth would be good as well, especially for when you're rubbing the isopropyl alcohol off, so it doesn't leave any small pieces of lint. I got 600 grit sandpaper. It's going to be wet sand. And then they have this really cool trim and bumper paint. It's supposed to be like the same OEM black as most cars for trim and bumper. And some primer. Also, if you have water and Dawn to initially clean this off, that's going to be needed as well. You're also going to need some garbage bags to bag off the window, so you don't want to get any paint on the window or on your nice paint. So you're going to put a bag here and a bag here, and to hold that down you're going to use tape, and that's all you need to do this project. First thing we're going to do is, I already started, but just to give you an idea, you just get a little screwdriver and you pop out this. They're plastic, so there's one there, and just go all along, and your trim will come right off. I'm gonna leave the front. This is on really tight, and the weather stripping is really good in here, so I'm gonna leave that on. I'll just tape it. Here the weather stripping's bad. You can see it doesn't line up, so I need to like stretch it out. I'll probably get a heat gun, stretch it, and set it in place. But this will make taping it on this line nice and easy. So now we're gonna go clean the surface. So first step is gonna just get a paper towel, and you want to clean the edge from here inside, and you want to clean all of this with Dawn, so some type of soap that strips it from wax, it strips it from all the contaminants. Dawn and water works great, and just clean it really good and then let it dry. Then after you do that, you want to get some isopropyl alcohol. This is just regular rubbing alcohol, and this will give it the final clean. But you're going to do this only right before you spray paint. You don't want to do it like an hour earlier or a day earlier. You want to do it right before you put the coat of primer on. And you also want to do it after you sand. So I washed it with soap and water. Now I'm going to go sand this. We're going to get the surface prepared. Here's the 600 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to add some water, just like that. So as you sand, you want to go in circular motions. You want the sandpaper to be nice and flat, and you want it to be wet, very wet in between. If it's not wet, take your spray bottle or water bottle or whatever and get it nice and wet. The other thing is, you can see here how it's light and then that's dark. So as you sand, it'll get darker. So that's how you know if you missed a spot. So you can see here, you see how it's darker here and lighter here? So that means I missed in here. So I want to try to get in here, and you can see it gets darker. So now we're going to just do this for the whole surface. And then once you're done, I'll show you what to do next. Now with a paper towel, just dry everything off. At the same time, you're trying to get it clean, so you want to make sure you don't see any black on here. And remember, painting is 99% prep. So all this, the better you do this, the better it's going to come out. So now, this is what my paper towel looked like before, when it was still dirty, and this is after. Now it's white, before it was dark. You want to make sure there's no dirt on it at all. And once you do that, now we're going to start using alcohol. So we're going to use rubbing alcohol. Just take a little bit, put it on your paper towel, and you do this step after everything is dry. So this really gets it clean, and alcohol evaporates really easily, so it'll dry it even better. Make sure there's no moisture at all. You can see how much more comes off after you use alcohol. So I'm going to do another I'm gonna let it dry and then wipe it down one more time with alcohol. You can see more is still coming up, so make sure you get it really good. So your surface is prepped. You can see came out really nice. It's nice and smooth. This gradient here is nice and smooth. You sanded this down nice and smooth. It's clean. The paint has a surface to grab. Now we're gonna start putting down tape on all the places we don't want to paint. So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna have a nice thin layer of tape here, right on the edge. So I'm still taping. Obviously very important. Do a good job taping. I'm gonna show you a little trick. So it's hard to like follow the lines of the weather stripping. So just put it over the weather stripping and dig your nail in like that, and you can see it follows it really well. And then you just take a straight edge at an angle, and then you pull it off, and it comes off nice and smooth, and you get a perfect edge. Just be careful that you don't cut into your paint and you don't cut into your weather stripping, and you're good. Got it all taped up. Now we're gonna put plastic bags on. Nice sharp lines here that go all the way around, and looks good. One thing you want to watch for is inside your door jamb, because paint will get in here and it should blend naturally and it should look good. So I don't think there's really much we need to do in here. Just make sure you tape it up right. So I opened the window and I was able to put it around the glass. Now I'm just taping the bag. So as you can see, I got the front window all taped up and all bagged up. Now, time to do the back window, and it's pretty simple. I just cut out a piece of bag, and then you just take a scissors, go out that. So I'm just going to put little pieces of tape to hold it in place really quick. This is easy to do, just make sure you spend time on it. If you don't spend time on it, you're going to mess up and you get paint everywhere. Trust me, it's all in the prep. And remember, you're going to be blasting air at it because there's air in that can. So you want to make sure, you know, when this moves around, there's no spots that get into your paint, to your windows, whatever the case may be. Okay, so the windows are taped up. Now it's time to get the surrounding areas of the truck. Okay. Look at that. Nice and covered. Now you're probably wondering, what about like right over here? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a box. And when I spray it, I'll just do this. Now we're just going to go check and make sure all this is good. This looks really good. Look at that. That looks nice. Got it going over and above. So now I'm going to spray paint. Change into a shirt, you could get messy. I'll probably wear some goggles just so I don't get in my eyes. I'm outside, so I don't need a respirator, but if you're indoors, you don't want to breathe this stuff in. So now we're going to go paper towel, isopropyl alcohol, and do one final rub down. Now use a microfiber cloth. So now there's no lint on there. And now comes the spray painting part. So first thing we're going to use is primer. So it says here that you need to, for spraying conditions, use an open area, blah blah blah, 50 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity below 85%. And do not put it on heated surface such as the surface in the sun. Shake can vigorously for 1 minute. Shake often, hold upright and 10 to 16 inches from surface. Okay, so that's what we're going to do right now. It's going to take, at 70 degrees, 30 minutes to dry. Now you don't want to put on thick layers, you just want to keep it moving once you start spraying. So that's the first coat. Take a look. Relatively even, and it's going to be impossible to get completely even with the spray can outside, but I think it came out actually pretty good. You don't want to put too much on. I actually started to put a little bit too much on here. You can see right there it's really shiny, but it's not going to turn out bad. The good thing is you could wet sand this right after you put it on and it dries, and that prevents something called orange peel, which is, you can see it's wavy. If it dries like that, it'll orange peel, so we don't want that. I actually want to touch up right here, and then we'll let it dry for 30 minutes. 30 minutes has elapsed, so now I'm gonna shake the can and apply another coat. Good. Now I'm going to let that dry for another 30 minutes, and then I'm going to apply my coat of black. Okay, looking pretty good. I let it dry overnight just because I was running out of daylight. But you only have to let it dry for an hour before you wet sand it. And now I'm going to wet sand it. And the reason I'm going to wet sand it, you can see there's a little bit of a bubble here. It's actually pretty smooth otherwise. I can feel little bumps. It's not bad. Time to wet sand, so you get your sandpaper, 600 grit, maybe even finer now. Finer would probably be better. 1200 would probably be the best. Get it nice and wet. And after it's wet, get your surface wet. So that's where the bump was. Completely gone. It's important. Any imperfections you see now are going to be translated to your final spray. So now we're just going to overall wet sand this just to get the orange peel off. Now once you're done wet sanding everything, get it wet, get a paper towel, and you want to try to get all that extra debris off. After you're done wiping it down, let it dry, and then you're going to wipe it down again with a dry towel or a microfiber cloth so that you don't get all fuzzies all over it. And then we're going to go over it with alcohol. Now we're going to get our alcohol and put it on a paper towel and rub it down. Now we're going to let that dry, and once that dries, we're going to touch it up with a microfiber cloth, and then we're going to start spray painting again. Now it's time to start painting. Get your first coat on and then let it dry. Let it dry a little bit, go back over. Good, now let it dry a little bit, and then we'll put one more coat on. So I just put a coat on 20 minutes ago, let it dry. Now I'm going to put one last coat on, so it'll be 3 coats total. It's looking pretty good already. Still wet, but came out really nice. That's gonna dry so nice. Now let's just let it dry. So we'll see how that looks in 4 hours. It's been sitting for like 2 hours. We're gonna go take off the plastic. So when you're removing this, you want to make sure you do it at a 90-degree angle. This isn't a big deal. So you want, for this, you want to keep a sharp angle like that. And that sharp angle will keep the paint from like tearing off off and looking horrible. See a nice sharp angle, just like so. Nice clean edge. Once I put the trim on, it looked good. So you can see, mistake here, got paint on the paint. I'll show you how to take that off, but that's not good. And I'm gonna wait to clean off. You can see like some of the glue is stuck on here. I'm gonna wait to clean that off. Let this dry even longer, but it came out really nice. Look at that. That is nice. So, as you can see, there's some extra on here. I'm gonna take some, this is simple green, you could use Dawn, and you just rub it, and since it's fresh, it'll come right off. And if it doesn't come off, you could use acetone or nail polish remover. But you wanna be careful, if you use that, it could also ruin your paint. So, you wanna wipe it off really quickly, don't let it soak in. And you also want to clean the area off with Dawn or simple green and water. Show you how good nail polish remover really works. I have some on this towel. You see the spot right here. It just like dissolves it. So, but you want to be careful. You immediately follow up with another paper towel and water and simple green. There we go. Good as new. Again, when using the nail polish remover, be very careful. Same with acetone, they're the same chemicals. You don't want to use that and keep it on your paint. So now we're going to put the plastic trim back on. Actually, it might be metal, but whatever, we're going to put the trim back on. And job complete. So now this metal trim just snaps on. Just like that. Done. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. You could click on any of these videos to see other how-tos.